Ladies and gentlemen, today is not just another day. It is a chance, a moment, a door. And behind that door lies a version of you that's more focused, more powerful, more aligned, and more determined than you've ever been. But that version of you isn't unlocked with luck. It's not waiting for a miracle. That version of you gets awakened when you decide, truly decide, that today will not be wasted. Too many people are waiting for the right time, waiting for the right mood, waiting for life to slow down, for circumstances to be perfect, for motivation to magically appear. But what if I told you the power you've been waiting for has been sitting inside of you all along, and all it takes to access it is one day? It's just one day of full presence, one day of clear intention, one day where you stop living on autopilot and start living with purpose. We have been conditioned to believe that massive change requires massive time, that success is something built over years and decades. And yes, long-term effort matters. But what if that long-term success starts with a single day of total commitment? One day of refusing to settle. One day of showing up for yourself like your life depends on it? Because in many ways it does. Every breakthrough begins with a decision, and every decision needs a starting point. That point can be today, right now. You don't need to change everything all at once. You just need to prove to yourself that it's possible. Because once you do something for one day, you break the belief that it can't be done. Imagine what could shift if you woke up and chose growth over comfort. If you chose clarity over chaos. If you chose action over avoidance. We're not here to talk about next year's resolution, we're here to talk about today's revolution. This isn't about changing the world, it's about changing your world. And when your world changes, when you rise, when you grow, when you show up with power, you naturally begin to impact everything around you. It starts with one choice, one spark, one commitment. And maybe, just maybe, today becomes that day. This message is for the person who knows they were made for more. For the one who's tired of talking about it, thinking about it, dreaming about it, but never doing something about it. The one who's ready to lead themselves instead of waiting to be rescued. So if you're ready to wake up your potential, if you're ready to see what happens when you stop living in someday and start living in now, and let's find out what one day, just one day, can truly do. The power of one day. Let me ask you something simple, but life-changing. What if everything could shift in just one day? Not a year, not a month, not even a week, one single day. What if for just 24 hours you gave your full energy, your full attention, and your full heart to becoming the best version of yourself? What if you stopped procrastinating, stopped doubting, and stopped making excuses, just for one day? You see, most people never change their lives because they're waiting for the perfect moment. They wait for Monday. They wait for the first of the month. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth? There is no perfect time. The perfect time is always now, and one day is all it takes to spark the fire of transformation. Try it. Just one day. Wake up early. Speak words of power to yourself, not pity. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose faith over fear. Choose action over avoidance. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and say, I'm gonna live this day as if it's my only chance to turn things around. Because maybe it is. Maybe this is the one day that opens the door to the life you've always dreamed of. You don't need to run a marathon, launch a business, or become a millionaire overnight. That's not the point. The point is this: momentum starts with movement. One day of clarity, one day of effort, one day of intentional choices can shift your entire mindset. Because once you prove to yourself that you can do it for one day, you destroy the lie that you can't. And from there you realize you're stronger than you thought. You've just been stuck in a pattern. Patterns are powerful. But so is a decision. When you decide to break the old pattern and try something new for one day, you start creating a new rhythm, a new story, a new you. What if today was the day you stopped complaining and started creating? What if you stopped reacting and started leading your life with purpose? You don't have to commit to forever. You just have to commit to one day. And maybe, just maybe, one day becomes two, then a week, then a hobby, then a lifestyle, then a legacy, But it starts with that one decision, that one action, that one moment when you say, I'm all in just for today. So try it. Try waking up with purpose. Try facing your fears. Try being disciplined. Try believing in yourself. Try it for one day and watch how your entire life begins to shift. One day of discipline can change everything. Most people don't lack dreams, they lack discipline. They say they want it. They say they're tired of being stuck. But when the alarm goes off, they hit snooze. When the challenge comes, they quit. And when the opportunity arises, they doubt themselves. But what if you tried something different, just for one day? What if, for 24 hours, you became the most disciplined version of yourself you've ever been? No shortcuts, no excuses, no I'll do it later. Just focus, just follow through, just fire in your soul. Discipline is not punishment. It's a form of self-respect. It's telling yourself, I am worth the effort it takes to grow. It's looking your bad habits in the face and saying, you don't own me anymore. Try it for one day. Wake up without complaining. Make your bed. Move your body. Fuel yourself with good food, not just for your health, but for your mindset. Write down your goals and don't let anything distract you from them. No mindless scrolling, no binge watching, no drama. Just one day of staying locked in. You'll be amazed at what you're capable of when you stop negotiating with weakness. When you stop feeding your distractions and start feeding your destiny. It's not about perfection, it's about commitment. It's about choosing to keep your word to yourself. Every time you say no to laziness, you say yes to progress. Every time you say no to fear, you say yes to courage. And every time you choose discipline, even when it's uncomfortable, you build strength that cannot be shaken. Here's the truth. Discipline isn't what limits your freedom. Discipline is what creates it. It gives you the ability to build the life you actually want instead of settling for what's easy. So don't overthink it. Don't wait until you feel like it. Just commit. One day of no excuses. One day where you do what you said you would do. Do the workout. Make the call. Write the plan. Speak the truth. Stand tall. Be the person you promise yourself you would become. Because one disciplined day plants the seed of transformation. It tells your brain, this is who I am now. And once you experience that power, that control, that clarity, you will want to go back. You've been surviving for long enough. It's time to start building. And it all begins when you decide, today, I lead myself with discipline. Just for one day. And that one day, it can be the start of everything you've ever wanted. One day of courage can break the cycle. Let's talk about courage. Not the kind you see in movies. Not the kind where someone runs into a burning building. I'm talking about the quiet courage it takes to face your own life head on. The kind that wakes up with fear in its chest, but still chooses to move forward anyway. You've got dreams buried deep inside you. Ideas, goals, visions of a better life. But somewhere along the way, fear got louder than your faith. You started playing it safe. You started settling. But what if just for one day, you decided to be courageous? Not forever, not even for a week. Just one day. One day where you stop shrinking to fit in. One day where you speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. One day where you chase what's meant for you instead of hiding from it. Courage doesn't mean the fear disappears. It means you stop letting fear make your decisions. Try this for just 24 hours. Don't let fear be your driver. Let your purpose drive. Let your conviction take the wheel. Let your hope speak louder than your hesitation. Say the thing you've been too afraid to say. Apply for the opportunity you think you're not good enough for. And the relationship that's been draining your spirit. Take the first step toward that dream that's been calling your name in the silence. Because here's the truth. Most people aren't stuck because they're weak. They are stuck because they're scared. Scared to change. Scared to fail. Scared of what others will say. But you don't have to live stuck, not even for another day. Courage is a muscle. It gets stronger every time you use it. And when you try it, even for one day, you'll start to realize something powerful. You're not as trapped as you think. You're not as helpless as they told you. You're not too late, too old, too broken, or too lost. You just haven't stood in your power yet. So stand up, even if your knees shake, even if your voice cracks, even if you're afraid of falling, stand anyway. The world doesn't need more people pretending to be perfect. It needs people willing to be real, willing to be bold, willing to rise. One day of courage can snap the chains of every lie you've believed about yourself. One day of courage can turn the page of your story. And once you've tasted that freedom, you'll never want to go back to living small again. So try it, just for one day. One day of boldness. One day of saying yes to what scares you. One day of stepping into the person you were always meant to be. Because that one day, it could change your life. One day of discipline can create momentum. Let's talk about discipline. The kind that separates the dreamers from the doers. Because dreams without discipline, they're just wishes. And wishes don't build empires, discipline does. Now don't let that word intimidate you. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about freedom. It's the freedom to wake up and know you're in control of your life, not your habits. It's the power to decide how your day unfolds instead of letting it happen to you. And guess what? You don't have to master discipline forever. Just try it for one day. One day where you keep your word to yourself. One day where you do what you said you'd do, even when it's uncomfortable. One day where you stop negotiating with laziness, with doubt, with distraction. Try waking up when the alarm goes off. Try putting your phone away and focusing on what really matters. Try finishing that task you've been avoiding. Try showing up fully present for your goals, for your health, for your peace of mind. Because here's what they don't tell you. Discipline feels hard in the beginning, but it gives you back more than it takes. An hour of focused effort is worth more than 10 hours of half-hearted trying. One solid day of commitment can spark a fire in you that you didn't even know was there. Think about this. If you can be disciplined for one day, what does that say about you? It says you're capable. It says you're not at the mercy of your feelings. It says you have the ability to take control, even when it's not easy. And the truth is, the first day is the hardest. Because it's the day you break old patterns. It's the day you silence the excuses. It's the day you prove to yourself that your comfort zone is no longer your home. People wait for motivation, but motivation is a guest that shows up late and leaves early. Discipline is the one that stays. Discipline is the structure that holds you up when motivation fails you. And the good news? You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. For one day, give your best effort. Even if you fail halfway through the day, restart. Even if you fall short, stand back up. Because every disciplined action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose structure over chaos, focus over distraction, purpose over procrastination, you're winning. And those little wins, they start to add up. They create momentum. They build belief. They give you proof that you don't need to wait for the perfect time. You just need to commit for one powerful day. So try it. One day of discipline. One day of showing up for yourself with full intention. One day of building the muscle that changes everything. Because when you prove to yourself you can do it for one day, you realize you can do it for life. One day can change everything. Here's the truth most people overlook. Your entire life can begin to shift in a single day. You don't need a new year. You don't need permission. You don't need everything to be perfectly aligned. All you need is one day, one decision, one choice to go all in. We often underestimate what one committed day can do. We think progress is only made in huge leaps, months of work, years of effort. But progress, real transformation, it's made in those quiet moments where you say, today, I will not quit. One day of choosing growth over comfort can break a cycle that's held you back for years. One day of action can rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. One day of truly showing up for yourself, your goals, your future, can plant the seed of greatness. Because the point isn't just to survive one day, it's to experience how powerful you are when you stop doubting and start doing. Look around. Most people are sleepwalking through life. They're stuck in routines, dragging themselves through days, waiting for something to change. But change doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who act. You have that power. You can be the one who wakes up and says, today, I'm not waiting anymore. Today, I'm not settling. Today, I try. And when you try, even if you stumble, even if you fall, you've done something most won't. You moved. You resisted the pull of mediocrity. You pushed against the tide of apathy. You broke through the fog of, I'll do it tomorrow. Let's be honest, trying for one day is simple, but it's not easy. Because trying means effort. Trying means vulnerability. Trying means facing your fears. But what's the alternative? Another day of regrets? Another night of wondering? What if I had just tried? No, not this time. This time, you take your power back. This time, you let go of the lie that you need to have it all figured out before you begin. You don't. All you need is the courage to take that first step. And here's the secret. One day of trying can lead to two leaps to three. And before you know it, you've built momentum that turns into a lifestyle. You don't change your life in a year. You change it in a moment, the moment you commit. And if you can commit for one day, truly and fully, everything begins to shift. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop holding back. Try it for one day. That's all. Because one day is all it takes to realize you're stronger than you thought, braver than you believed, and far more capable than you ever imagined. Try it for one day and watch everything begin to change. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come back to the heart of this message. Everything you've heard today leads to one simple but powerful truth. Your entire life can begin to shift in just one day. Not in a year, not after you read 10 more books or attend another seminar. One single day. It's not about grand gestures. It's not about waiting until you have all the answers. It's about making a choice. A small, powerful, courageous choice to show up differently today. You've heard it said that consistency compounds, that habits shape identity. But here's the part most people forget. It all begins with a spark, and that spark, that's your one day. One day of discipline shows you that you can control your direction. One day of courage reminds you that fear doesn't define you. One day of focus proves that momentum doesn't come from luck. It comes from commitment. Look around you. Most people are sleepwalking through life. They're scrolling, numbing, avoiding, and wondering why they feel stuck. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know what they don't. The door to your next level opens the moment you stop living in someday and start owning your today. One day of purpose can be the seed that grows into a life you're proud of. One day of intention can shatter the belief that you'll always be stuck. One day of showing up for yourself can silence every doubt that ever said you can't. You've got power inside you that's been waiting, potential that's been buried under excuses, discipline that's been drowned out by distraction, but no more. Because now, you've seen what's possible. And if you can do it for one day, you can do it again. One day becomes two becomes momentum, momentum becomes a lifestyle, and before you know it, you've built a life not from luck, not from shortcuts, but from one powerful decision made over and over again. The truth is, you don't need a new year, a perfect plan, or anyone's permission. You just need to start. And the best part? You can start right now. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more settling. Today is your day. So rise up. Choose discipline. Choose courage. Choose purpose. And remember, one day can change everything. Let that day be today. Now go. Go live it. Go lead it. Go build the life that's been waiting for you to wake up and chase it. Because once you do, you'll never go back to being the person who waited. You'll be the one who decided. And that one decision, that's how legacies begin.